to freshen up yourself and be ready for the day. Today we'll have a great meeting. We have under an hour. We shall have an hour of great engagement, interaction, and I invite all of you to be part of this great session. Wherever you're joining us from, feel free to pop up and share your comment in the chat where you are. We want to know you, want to connect with you, want to be part of your story, because we believe at Toastmasters, we are here to raise leaders and provide a very good environment for them to thrive and improve their public speaking skills. I'm privileged to be your Toastmaster of the morning and the first Toastmaster after our contest that just ended recently in October, where our own Alex Agawa was the winner of 2 accolades and goes to the next stage, together with my colleague Henry Sentongo, who led our Toastmaster, our table topics session. And I'll be privileged to be representing the club at the next session, where we shall be competing at area level, as we look forward to having Kampala Sunrise shine as much as possible. Every Toastmasters meeting is not run by one individual. They work together alongside a team. So allow me share with you my team today, who will be coming on to share with you their role and how they'll be able to help me to have a good meeting. Every Toastmasters meeting begins with a timer, because we believe time is very important. We want to begin on time and end on time. So our timer of the day is Agnes Katushare. Agnes, please come on. Toastmaster Agnes Katushare, please come on, share with us your role, and let members know how you'll be taking on the session from today. Agnes, over to you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Toastmasters, and as your timer for today, I'll be taking note of how we are using time, especially for speakers. Please pin my video. When you get to, for 5 to 7 minute speeches, at 5 minutes, I'll show you the green like that. At 6 minutes, I will show you the yellow. You'll see my screen change. And at 7 minutes, you will see red. For table topics, it will be the same process, but at 1 minute, you'll see green. At 1.5 minutes, yellow. And at 2 minutes, you will see the red. Evaluations, you have, you will go through the same process. So watch out for my screen. And at the end, I will show you, I'll give you a report. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again, Agnes Katushave, and look forward to you helping us keep our time throughout this session. Our next role taker is our grammarian. Our grammarian checks how we use the English language and gives us the word of the day to ensure that we use it and improve our public speaking skills. Our great grammarian of the day is none other than Anne Jeroge. Anne Jeroge, please come and share with the members what your role will be and how you enable us to improve our English language on this day. Anne, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. As you've heard, my role today is twofold. The first one is to introduce the word of the day, which is ameliorate. I repeat again, ameliorate. Ameliorate means to make something bad or unsatisfactory better. An example in a sentence is: the obstacles that we encounter on our way are supposed to ameliorate us in one way or another. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Anne Joroge, who will be our grammarian. You'll also be doing our counter of the day, so you'll be able to check how we use some pause fillers like and as many as possible. Maybe would you want to clarify more on that as well?
Sure thing. I'll be on the lookout.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. We want to begin our Toastmasters meeting of this morning with an education moment, and I'm going to hand over to Toastmaster Alex Agawa in 2 to 3 minutes to share with us something we can learn from and be able to improve in many areas of our lives. Alex, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. I want to begin my educational moment with a question. Question, Toastmasters on the call. Who is this year's Toastmaster International World Champion Speaker? Who is this year's Toastmasters International World Champion Speaker? Takers? Please unmute and speak out the answer.
Price.
Who was that? Pardon me?
I remember the name Price.
You have half the answer right. Who has the full name? Toastmaster.
Verity Price. Verity Price.
Perfect. Perfect. Toastmaster Verity Price. A follow-up question. What continent does the world champion of public speaking come from?
Africa.
Wow, you're gracious. You've done your homework on the world champion speaker. That's true. Verity Price comes from Africa, and she won the international world contest. What that means is that she won a competition that had almost every Toastmaster participating in, because the world champion for public speaking begins from club level, and then winners at club level progress to the area, and then the best speakers at area progress to the district or the division. The best winners in the division progress to the district, and the best speakers at the district progress to the region. So what amazed me about Verity is that she's not just the winner of the International Public Speaking Contest, but Verity Price is also an evaluator. Verity Price was the best evaluator at her District 74 evaluation in 2015. So I want to show you a video of Verity Price and how she does her evaluation, and that will be my educational moment. Simply because what that teaches us is that to become a better speaker, you need to first become a better evaluator. Think about it. If you're a good chef, you must enjoy your food, right? So if you're a very good evaluator, you know what it takes to make a good speech. So my call to action here is that as you work on your speeches, as you work on improving your public speaking skills, why don't you begin by improving your evaluation skills? And this includes things like active listening, things like just watching out on people's speech structures, and you become a very good public speaker. So here we go. I'll share my screen for just a minute. So that's Verity Price, and the 2015 District 74 Evaluation Champion. I'm not sure I shared my audio, but just a second.
The next contestant, Verity Price.
Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and Keta, I loved your speech. Thank you for a vivid and relatable topic. I think all of us have had something to do with this crazy little thing called love. There were things that really stood out for me, Keta, and the first was before you opened your mouth. You stood up here with poise and presence while a technical glitch went on around you. And I think you won the audience before you said a word. And then when you started speaking, I discovered that we had a word wizard in our midst. From rhyme, you had the imagination and exaggeration. You spoke about, let me explain, as we walk down memory lane. You used this beautiful...
Well, my time is up, but there you get it. She's an evaluator, and because she was a world-speaking champion evaluator, she became a world-speaking international speaker. So the two go hand in hand. And remember, Toastmasters, when you're giving an evaluation, you give it in a sandwich method. That means you begin by acknowledging the good things the speaker did, and then you tell us what the speaker could improve, and then you wind up with summing up your evaluation and also telling us or summarizing the good things the speaker did. That way, your speech is very encouraging, very uplifting, and very supportive. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Morning, Moses.
Thank you so much, Alex. Appreciate you for that very good education moment. We learned something or two, and what hit me this morning was that for you to, if you're a good chef, you must enjoy your food. So if you're a chef here and you don't enjoy your food, then who are you cooking for? You have to first cook for yourself and then cook for the rest. And all the good chefs on the call, they know what this means to all of us. I want to give you a story as we go into our speeches of this morning. A king had was not happy with his members who had become soft, and most of them were very entitled. So because he was alienated with their character, he chose to teach them a lesson by doing something simple. He got a large block, a large road, and put it in the middle of the block that was leading to the main town. And by blocking off the entire city, no one could proceed where they were going. He was trying to see how his people would respond, how if they would remove it or they would be discouraged and turn back home. He went and hid somewhere, and every single day, people came, looked at it, turned back. Others tried to push it a little, and therefore, when they couldn't move it, they got frustrated and went back. Many of them even complained and cursed the king, and and wondering which kind of leader they had in their midst. After several days of the king, yes, can let me mute somebody? Thank you. After several days, a man came on his way and saw the big rod in the middle of the stick, in the stick, big rod in the middle of the road. Hope you understand it. So he went he tried pushing it, he couldn't push it by himself. He went to the nearby bush, picked two very good sticks, and began using them to put them below the big rod and move it away and move it away and move it away. Beneath that particular big piece of wood was a statement written: the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget that every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our current condition. Our speakers who are coming on next will be sharing with us how the obstacle public speaking could be an opportunity to improve themselves and even become better. So as we go to our speakers of the morning, welcome them, give them all the energy because they are removing one big block out of the way. After all, public speaking is equivalent to death for those who know. So standing up on the podium is something we never take for granted. Our first speaker of this morning will be Toastmaster Deogracius Ochao Apuli, and to welcome and to evaluate Deogracius, we shall be having Biswas Rupasri. Biswas Rupasri, help us, Toastmaster Biswas Rupasri, help us introduce and evaluate the speaker of the morning, Toastmaster Deogracius Apuli. Rupasri, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, and a very, very good morning to everyone who are present here in the session. Today, our speaker is delivering the project from Presentation Mastery Level 3. The purpose of this project is for the speaker is to deliver a project, a social project in front of the Toastmasters. The timing of the speech for the timer that has to be noted is only 3 to 4 minutes with a grace period on both the ends. I'm done. Anything more that I need to say, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, if you please guide me? I think rest is being normally said by the team, if I'm not
Thank
wrong.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
at this time, allow me invite Toastmaster the gracious Apuri to speak to us on the topic, on the speech entitled "A Beacon of Hope." A beacon of hope. The gracious Apuri, a beacon of hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I would love us to courageously celebrate the life of the man that was Father Giovanni Jones Calabrini. In the chaotic capitalistic continent of Europe, he was born by a common man in the small city of Limido, Camasco in 1934. He moved to Uganda in 1964 and was ordained as a priest around the same age. He started his work in northern Uganda, where he was tasked to build a church. But after seeing the locals wallowing in the jaws of poverty, he started a mission to change this in what would take decades of his life. He built flour mills and encouraged farmers to plant and grow maize that they would later grind and sell for a profit. In the central region of Kampala, he built the Bishop's Priano Chihangire schools, as we know them today, that dragged so many out of the shadows of ignorance into the bright light of knowledge and prosperity. He aided the construction of the St. Bruno Serunkuma Church that purified the souls of the corrupt with the crystal clear stream of faith and religion. He constructed hospitals that saved so many patients from the storms of illnesses onto the calm shores of health. He built the Emmaus Foundation that helped thousands and thousands of children who were less privileged with free quality education, food, and shelter. He was a guardian to the unprotected, a foster parent to the orphaned, and to those who were floating in the dark space of hopelessness with starless black heavens. He was the light of hope that formed a rope that people used to anchor and swing themselves to the chance of a better future. He worked for the benefit of humanity. He opened up opportunities to the community, and he was appreciated by society. Many have been called to lead, but few had the creed that embodied this exceptionally extraordinary priest. He was the epitome of selflessness and not to neglect, he was the great orator, for never in my life had I seen a man so eloquent who had risen to the high plane of oratory. He was a man who was pure of heart and strong of spirit. And even though in October 2016 he was laid to rest, his legacy still lives because he carved his name into the trenches of history. And the impact he made is yet to be felt, because as you and I know, achievements and landmarks of history are not abrupt peaks. They are summits of gradual elevations, and their foundations run daringly deep into the soils of the past. And it is upon this foundation that he laid that we've been able to build in the present and continue building a future. And even though every age and every nation are confronted by problems peculiar to itself, the one thing we can learn from the lifestyles of Father Giovanni Jones Calabrini is that you and I have a responsibility to create opportunities in the spaces we occupy for the people who can't access those same opportunities, to lift as we rise, to see our communities not as competition, not as some place we need to escape from, but as a spring of hope, upon which thereafter we can build a fountain of success, sprinkling from one place, our communities, to wherever. I wish you nothing but the heart, the foresight, and the fortitude of Father John Giovanni Scalabrini. Here, Modi.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, please give our Toastmaster, the gracious Ochao, a big round of applause for that very, very well delivered speech. Please appreciate. Thank you. I see those hands up. I see those hands coming up. Thank you. Well delivered and a well delivered speech. As part of how we do at Kampala Sunrise, every speaker has an evaluator, but also all of us will be invited to come and give a review of what Toastmaster, the gracious, has just delivered to us. And in Toastmasters, we believe that feedback is breakfast for champions. So in the next 1 minute, in the next 30 seconds or 40 seconds, I'm going to give Repast an opportunity, who will be the first one to evaluate the gracious, but also those who are on the call and you'd want to give the gracious your evaluation, you'll be able to put your name in the chat, and will allow you to be able to give us, to give him your feedback and how you've seen the speech, which areas they can improve, and how you can become a better and even a better speaker. Until today, I am still wowed by the achievements of one man who can be able to write his name into history by such a good story. But I am not yet talk about it because Repastri has the first opportunity to talk about the gracious speech. Repastri, over to you.
Thank you once again, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Today, our wonderful first speaker delivered an amazing social speech, something that I was completely captivated to hear. But a speech could have been made an amazing one with few points that I'm eagerly waiting to share, Toastmaster Achal, because the speech had amazing points, beautiful points to capture the audience. However, the points that was missing, and that is required to be a speaker, not only in your location, in your club, in your division, in your country, but a speaker throughout the world. That is the first point that I would want to share, Achao, is your word, the pauses that you need to share, the pauses that you need to use while delivering. You have been delivering the speech without proper pause. For example, into the shadows of ignorance. I could not completely understand. You had to use certain pause with proper pronunciation, Achao. You have to understand that your audience will not be only your locations people. I am also a member of your audience who wants to understand every single word specifically. So it's a request to you, Toastmaster Achao, next time when you are delivering, you are requested to be more clear, use proper pauses. While even saying about Father John, I first could not understand. Later, I came up to know that it is Father John you are talking about. So that's all from my end. However, the expression and the emotion that was reflecting through your face was amazing. Do keep doing that again and again. But while delivering, please look at your audience and not on the right or the left side. You are an amazing speaker. Keep doing the great job. I'm done. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Firstly, I pick a few things also as a speaker that I can learn from your evaluation also, and the gracious has picked a number of them. I see a comment from Lawrence Namale that I will love the imageries from the gracious, the poetic flow with timed hesitation, which tags along with the listener. Good feedback from Andrew Mohimbise. a bit scared, interesting at the start, but then caught up very well. Those are the comments from Andrew. Great morning to be here. Thank you so much, Rachel. Over to you, Alex Agaba, and any other person who would want to give an evaluation for Deo, please be able to put your name in the chat. We'll give you an opportunity on how the speech came to you. We give something positive and something the speaker can improve on in their Toastmasters journey. Over to you, Alex Agaba.
Thank you, Moses. And wow, thank you, Deo Gracious, for graciously blessing us with such a perfect, also timely speech, a social speech, really recognizing someone who did something. As usual, Deo Gracious, we love your speeches because your speeches come from the heart, and this was one of them. And you ticked almost every box, like you're dressed for the part, and then you had good camera lighting. Your background was not very distractive. Those you have managed to tick along the way of your Toastmasters journey. And you look prepared, and I thought you're ready to speak. However, what can you improve on your stage presence or on your speech delivery, Deo Gracious? I didn't feel your opening to be so strong. I was looking out for your opening, but I realized that it wasn't that captivating. And I don't know if anyone remembers Deo Gracious' opening. I don't know, it could just be me, but I'm curious to find out if anyone else remembers how your speech opened. The great ways of captivating your audience at the start, if you saw what I did in the educational moment, I began by asking a question. I asked the audience, who is the current world public speaker? And it's what I like doing when I'm beginning my speeches, to bring the audience in. So it's something I think you could try, explore more options of having a strong opening so that your speeches are more memorable. That brings me to the point of audience engagement. It's something I don't see you doing quite often. You're very confident speaking out your speech and focusing on maybe the oratory, the words. So the audience engagement might be something you want to look into, again, to make your speeches more memorable. Then lastly, as you get to give more speeches, you need to get into a habit of, as you finish your speeches, you want to change gear somehow and then take your speech full circle in a way that you can tie your closing to your opening. It's most of our speeches at Toastmasters kind of end abruptly. Someone stops speaking and you're not ready for that. So find a way of structuring your speech so that as you conclude, the speaker kind of gets to know this person is concluding without you saying in conclusion. I don't know if you get my point. So take your speech full circle and tie your closing to your beginning. That way, you're also aiding the listener to know that you're kind of concluding, and then maybe you're kind of now going to summarize your speech. That's what I could get from your speech today, Deo. Back to you, Toastmaster of the morning.
Thank you so much, Alex, for that very deep evaluation of Deo. Thank you so much. We appreciate it once again. Any other person, final person to give a comment to Deo before we move on to our table topics? Any final comment from anyone? This could be a guest, please. We always want to hear how you feel the speech, how you've been, what you learn, one or two things, and how the speaker can improve, because at Toastmasters we believe that feedback is breakfast for champions. Any other person? I just want to give a minute at least for one person who could be there and saying, I want to give a comment to Deo. Good. If there's none, personally, I always I began reading the books that Deo reads, because his poetry is out of this world, and I love. So I picked a few things from him quietly, and he shared with me his reading, his readings. So I'm following them letter by letter. Possibly look out for me in 2022. Maybe I also be speaking at the same level. So you can't wait to have that. Our next phase, which is very important as part of Toastmasters, each one of us who comes on the call is able to speak and be able to be part of the conversation. We're supposed to have a second speaker who has had some technical challenges, so shall not go ahead with second speaker. We'll immediately go on to our table topics. At Toastmasters, we believe that every time you're in a meeting, you could be called on to make an impromptu speech. Either you'll be invited at the session or somewhere, and you have to give an impromptu speech. And we use this opportunity to improve our impromptu speaking styles. So our table topics master of the morning, Toastmaster Carla Isaacs, all the way from Guyana, joining us this early morning from her side, will be able to take us through a few things we can be able to learn from. And all of us on the call will be able to be part of this conversation. So look forward to picking any of you, either your guest or you're a Toastmaster or you're visiting, be ready to speak as much as possible. And the timer has indicated that you have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. So please be ready to speak and be able to be part of this session. Allow me to hand over to Toastmaster Carla Isaacs to take us to the table topic session of this morning. Over to Toastmaster Carla Isaacs.
Thank you, Toastmaster Moses. Good morning, Kampala Sunrise Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the table topics mysteries is to give you topics that would help you to enhance your public speaking. A table topics is a mini speech with an opening, a body, and a conclusion. Now, these questions are not limited to Toastmasters only, but they are also open for guests. You have 1 to 2 minutes to wrap up your presentation. With the help of the timer, at 1 minute, you will see the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, you will see the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, you will see the red card, which denotes you have 30 seconds to wrap up your presentation. I will first call on the Toastmaster, so the guests on the call will be able to see how the table topic segment is being conducted. Here we go. The host is disabled sharing screen. I will need permission to do that. Quickly. Time is going. Yes, Rupa, I was going to call you first. So thank you for raising your hand. Can you, excuse me, you're able to see my screen? Correct. Obstacles in the way. Can you hear me clearly? You hear me clearly? Yes, nod, thumbs up. Use the reaction button at the bottom.
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Master Rupa, your question is this. Life is full of obstacles. You either go through it or around it. Life is full of obstacles. You either go through it or go around it. Tell us why.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster, Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Kala, and a very good morning once again to everyone. While I had joined Toastmasters, I was being asked to stand for the executive committee election. I was a person who always used to run away from elections because taking responsibilities was not my forte. In spite of that, I was being forced by the other senior members to be a part of the election, and somehow I was the president of the club. After I became the president, the club members again wanted me to take part in the table topic contest. Something, again, which was not my forte. Table topics, oh my God, it's a fear. Come on, Me participating in table topics? Are you all mad? But in spite of that, being the president, if I don't go up on the stage, how will others learn? I was being forced and I contended. I was the seventh member, and believe me, I was literally shivering before taking the topic. The topic was given, I could not hear. I could not hear the topic because something else was going around in my mind. Run away, faint, run away, run away. Nobody will understand that you did not want to speak. But I did not run away. I stood there, even though I could not hear and utter a single word on that table topic. Yes, about 50 members were staring at me, some with hopes that she might speak, and some with thoughts that she's the president and she can't even speak a single word. It was an obstacle for me, obstacle to move ahead in my life, obstacle so that where I thought Toastmaster is not something. I moved ahead. I moved ahead, and later I became the club champion in the next year. And that was an achievement for me. I did not let the obstacles stop me. And so are you all, Toastmasters. Don't let any obstacle stop you. Move ahead in your life. Your life has amazing things to offer for you. Thank you. I'm done speaking. Over to you, Toastmaster Kyla.
Thank you very much. If I do not take part, how will the members learn? And I totally agree with you. Our second presenter would be Pamela. Pamela, are you there? If you're there, just say I'm here. If not, we'll take Rita. Rita, are you there?
Pamela is there. Pamela is there.
Okay, Alex. Thank you very much for volunteering yourself.
Pamela is there.
Here is your question.
Carla, it's Pamela's question. I see her thumbs up. Pamela is there.
Okay, Pamela. Okay, Pamela, your question. Tell us of a time when you had to go through an obstacle in your life. Tell us of a time when you had to go through an obstacle in your life. You have 1 to 2 minutes to present your presentation. Pamela, are you there?
Good morning. My video is failing, so I'll just speak. I hope that's all right.
Sure.
Okay.
It's okay.
So if I'm to speak of a time when I had to go through an obstacle, is when I joined an organization where I was required to do a role and I was not ready to take it on. I felt like it was sort of an imposter syndrome. So I had to prepare myself in all aspects so that I can feel that I fit in that role. I prepared through reading. I took on lessons and learning, and I also considered Toastmasters, though I did not pursue that at that point. However, I went on to also inquire with my fellow colleagues so that I can get equipped with that knowledge that I feel that I would require in my day-to-day work. So stepping out of my comfort zone and not down in myself helped me, because I figured that I would have to be working twice as hard for me to fit into that position and do well. And every support that I got within the organization, I would take it positively. The feedback, the people who came back to me and told me that you're doing this way, and I didn't really have to push back. I took that as a better way for me to improve myself. Those were some of the things that I picked up, and I realized that I cannot treat this as an obstacle. I would have to go through it and achieve what I have to achieve. Yeah, that is it from me. I cannot see the time.
Thank you very much. You are Justin Yellen. Very good. Thank you for such an inspiring presentation and response. I'm going to call Toastmaster Henry. You're next. I see you. Henry, are you there? Henry, can you hear me? He's looking up in the ceiling. Alex, I'll go with you. Here's your question, Alex. Alex, your question is, no matter the obstacles, we need to stay focused in order to meet our destination. No matter the obstacle, we need to stay focused in order to meet our destination. Tell us why. And this goes to Alex Agaba.
Perfect. Well, there is a song I used to listen to when I was, I think, early childhood. It used to go like this. There is no obstacle so high or no valley so low. So what that song was telling me was that there's never such a very high obstacle, but I wasn't understanding what it was telling me until as I later grew, or as I later went through life, through school, then work, I began realizing that in hindsight, or looking backwards, or connecting the dots backwards, what that song was telling us is that for every high obstacle, for example, if you are, say, in high school and you didn't know how you're going to get to university, you got there. And then if you're in university and you didn't know maybe how I was going to finish university and maybe get a job, in hindsight, I got there. What that speaks to me, what that tells me is that I guess life is one day at a time, and for every obstacle, it's also one small obstacle at a time. So, hey, there is no such a huge obstacle if you can break it down into very small bits and take it in your stride, one day at a time, one obstacle at a time. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're looking at attaining something, or if you've set yourself a very high target or goal, you can achieve it if you break it down into small bits. And hey, there's no such a huge obstacle. Back to you, Carla, Isaac.
Thank you very much, Ms. Master Alex, for your response. Ms. Master Karen, are you there? Ms. Master Karen, graduator number 2. Would you like to take a question?
Yes, I'm here, Carla.
Awesome. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Love that. Here we go. This one is made especially for you. Can you see it? What
Yes.
obstacle have you faced as a Toastmaster, and were you able to grow from the experience? What obstacle have you faced as a Toastmaster, and were you able to grow from the experience?
I have faced 2 obstacles as a Toastmaster. The first obstacle is fellow Toastmasters who are so good at speaking that I wondered how they made it. I actually would look at myself vis-a-vis other speakers, and I would not understand how they are able to speak the way they are speaking, yet they are still in their, initial levels of growth. And I thought that this bar was too high to reach. In many of my club meetings, I would see who is speaker alongside me, and I would wonder how my speech would look like as compared to theirs. But I learned to get a mentor from the very team that I could see was way above my league. So I reached out to 1 or 2 people and requested for them to be my mentors. And once I started working with some Toastmasters who I thought were good, in a short time, I was able to be like them, like the people I was admiring somehow. And I realized that they were very open to sharing ideas of how they have been able to do it. They were able to share with me the obstacles that they met that I did not have to meet because I was being held by the hand. I have realized that mentorship is the best thing that can happen to a Toastmaster because it enables you to learn from the best without necessarily having to go through the difficulty that they went through, and just be like the people that you admire. So should you be a Toastmaster and you're looking up to someone, reach out to them and ask them to mentor you. Ask them to review your speech before you speak it. Ask them for a separate session before the Toastmasters meeting so they can see you speak and be able to take out some lessons or some corrections from them before the main Toastmasters meeting. And right now, I am proud that I am able to speak to many of the speakers that I thought were so good and too good. And I have been able to also grow in my journey. The other challenge that I faced as a Toastmaster or an obstacle was time. Most of the Toastmasters meetings are happening either too early, like the Kampala Sunrise, or very late in the evening. And you really have to sacrifice your time. I know all of you always have things that you're doing with your time, but I have had to set aside time deliberately. Nobody can book me for a Monday evening because they know that I will be out there doing Toastmasters. Whether I am a speaker or not, a role taker or not, I just like to sit in the meetings and see what is happening. So I have blocked the time and I have ensured that there is nothing that comes between me and my Monday evenings. Those are my two challenges and how I have faced them as a Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. We have two more questions and I'm going to call Juliet. Juliet, are you there? Juliet, are you there? What about Andrew? Andrew, are you there? Don't be afraid. This one is easy. What about Lucy? Lucy, are you there? Shafiq?
Hi, sorry, I'm on mobile. I'm actually moving, so may not be able to take it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for responding. Shamin, are you there? Shamin, is that the right pronunciation? Forgive me for pronouncing your name incorrectly. What about Shafiq? Are you there? What about DS?
Me?
Yes, thank you, DS. I don't know why, I don't know how to pronounce your other names, so I would not attempt to make a mess of it.
I know.
This is your question. A Toastmasters meeting is filled with many obstacles. Tell us of one obstacle you were able to overcome.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, this is my second Toastmasters meeting. I thank again Alex for introducing me to this wonderful environment. And let me tell you, my first obstacle was this one, to take to plunge while I don't really know anyone in the real world. I don't know anyone of you, and I have to talk to you. It is like getting somehow opening to strangers and get judged by them, and it's the first obstacle I'm going through, and I don't even know the rules of the clubs. I don't know anything, and I just dive in. This is what I'm doing as the first obstacle, and I'm going through it now. It's like the question responding, and it's live going through it. So you will judge me, you will tell me, and I really count on every one of you
to show me the way. As the previous person said, have a mentor. Every one of you could be my mentor and tell me how we go through this process of public speaking at Toastmasters and how we interact with you as people and each individual as a person. I belong. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DS. What's your correct name? What does DS stands for? What does the DS stands for? What does the DS stands for?
It's Drissa Soro. Drissa Soro.
Awesome.
Yes.
I almost bit my tongue here.
Thank you.
Our final question. Who would like to take this final question? Here we go. This is our final question. I don't want to give a child because he did a presentation already. We don't want to double roll on any of our functionaries. Juliet, are you there? Are you able to unmute and answer the question?
Juliet cannot speak, unable to speak.
Oh.
But Henry.
Henry.
Annie wants to take it. I think Annie wants to take it.
Very well. Thank you very much. Here's your question.
Annie?
Rachel.
Yes.
Rachel.
All right. Okay, let's take that. My apologies. I have a short question. How can a speaker stop you from moving forward? For me, being a table topic speaker or taking the role of evaluator are always my obstacle because I always feel that I don't have the ability to speak in front of public. I don't like to be under the limelight, and speaking impromptu like I'm doing now is really not my skill because I like preparation. So with preparation, I can do something better. And this type of obstacle always holds me back and always keep me scared, and I don't get to move forward to take the challenge. And then I learn from every Toastmaster meeting that we must take the obstacle, that we must face it, and we must. Toastmaster is a place where the mistakes are allowed, and no one will blame you, and you are always free to express yourself because Toastmasters is a very positive environment. So be brave and face the obstacles. So I learned that even though this obstacle mostly keep holding me back to move forward, but I learned that I need to face my fears and conquer my obstacle of being afraid to speak impromptu or speak in public. I think that's all, Carla. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Arnie, for responding. Time, do we have time for one more question? I'm seeing Rachel's hand up. Do we have time?
I think we're out of time, Carla.
All right, thank you very much. Rachel, on the next go round, Saturday, maybe you get a chance to answer a question. Over to you, Moses. And thank you for all who participated.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Carla, for giving us 20 minutes of table topics speaking. I believe all of us have had a very, very good time. We've learned one or two things. And let me give you just one assurance. Here, this is a safe space, no judging. Simply be who you are. We provide that environment to enable you learn and grow and improve. Besides all of us, we are here to learn. At this time, I know our time is fast spent. I want you to be able to pick, to receive the reports from our different role takers who are with me this morning. We are running the session with me. Since the timer is very critical for us, I will begin with the Grammarian, because the grammarian, the time has also timed the grammarian. So I'll begin with the grammarian of the morning to give us how we've used our English language and areas we can improve on and how we can get better as we go ahead. And Njoroge, give us your report for this morning on how we used our English language in this session. Toastmaster Anne, just confirm you can hear me. Can't seem to hear Anne. So can I ask Agnes to go ahead and give us the timer report of the morning? Agnes, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our report for today, we started with, I started timing to the education moment, which was supposed to be 2 to 3 minutes, took 4 minutes, and it took 5 minutes and 37 seconds. For the gracious speech, which was 3 to 4 minutes, he used 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Evaluator Rupasri used 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Round robin evaluator Alex took 3 minutes to evaluate the gracious. In table topics, we had Rupasri take 2 minutes and 30 seconds for her speech. Pamela took 1 minute, 39 seconds. Alex took 1 minute, 58 seconds. Karen used 3 minutes, 8 seconds. DS used 1 minute, 40 seconds. Annie used 1 minute and 26 seconds. That's our report, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate. I hope all of us have known the time we've used, and we can always improve and keep getting better next time. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Agnes Katushabe. Can I also, hope I can hear you now, Anne Njoroge. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Toastmaster of the day, Moses. My apologies for the technical hitch. I couldn't, my touchpad was not moving. Now, onto the report of the day. The word of the day, ameliorate, happened to be more of an obstacle. I didn't hear it much used today, which is very much in order. It's a great opportunity to learn. Exemplary use of vocabulary, we had many instances, and I think we got a lot of that, a lot of imagery, idioms, new phrases from the first speaker. Your language was very colorful, melodious, and very inviting to all of us, you know, from the starless black heavens to the fountain of success, to lift as we rise. It was beautiful and amazing. So I'd encourage all of us to keep it up. Areas that we can improve on. One is on the use of connector words. Something I had it Alex, and I also had it with a few other speakers. And alternatives that we can work on using include therefore, upon, thus, consequently. Another area of encouragement I'd like us to work on in languages is the use of comparatives and superlatives. And these are words that are used to express comparison between two entities. So for example, instead of saying better and better, you can say better and greater. Communication is one of the most important skills you require for successful life. said one anonymous great speaker. Back to you, TMOD of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anne Njoroge, for being able to give us a good report. I have also learned how to use connector words. That's something I also pick up on and see how can I use good connector words. That's something very important for all of us. And thank you so much. I appreciate. At this time, we've largely come to the end of our meeting today. We'd like to thank all of you for being able to be part of this session today. Please note our next meeting will be on the 27th of November. Being our last meeting of the year, it will be our second last meeting of the year, possibly. It will be a physical meeting because we want to be able to connect with each other. It's been a while. We haven't met for close to 2 years. We haven't met physically to be able to have a meeting. I think the last time we met was in November last year when we had our retreat. So we have a physical meeting, spend a day of speaking, learning from each other. The details should be shared with you before the end of the day tomorrow on our different chats. And those who are on this platform, you hear from us in many ways on how we can connect and be part of us for those who are in Uganda. However, we will resume our virtual meetings later on in early December, and to ensure that we're able to keep your dial on. We have a lot more coming in stock for you, and I know you will be able to have a good time in Kampala. If you're a member and would like to join us, please put your contacts in the chat to be able to pick up and have a conversation with you. At Kampala Sunrise, we provide that environment to enable you grow and improve your leadership and public speaking skills. I'd like to thank all of you. Thank you for visiting us today. I've seen Toastmaster Rita Mwima from Luvoa Toastmasters. Thank you so much, Rita, for being with us. Juliet Oyela, been a long time that seeing you. Good to have you. And all of us who have come from around, thank you so much, Toastmaster Isaac, Toastmaster Karen, who came all the way from Nairobi to be part of us, from Guyana, and around the world. Thank you so much for being part of us today. Thank you so much, Anne, and I appreciate all of you. I'll adjourn the meeting here and allow for interactions outside the formal meeting. Thank you. Have a great and blessed day ahead.